the city of the marches. That's Hereford, your postcard today from the capital of Herefordshire. We're standing by the River Wye, which is just down there. We're in Hereford. Do we presume, Jeremy, the reason why Hereford began is because of this river?
Yes. Hereford holds a strategic position. We're actually up on quite an elevated bank here, Russell, which always gave it its defence. There are also two crossing points on the River Wye here, fords, which were early ways of getting over the river from the Bishop's Meadow on the far side. And although Hereford didn't start here initially, it started out with an Iron Age hill fort outside Hereford at Creton Hill. The Romans came here. They didn't actually live in Hereford, but they certainly used the fords. But Hereford, in years gone by, was of major importance. It had a castle complex here as big as Windsor Castle.
And yet you go round to Castle Green now and there's nothing but a bowling green and a sort of a bit of a lumpy sort of embankment.
Absolutely. It's after the Civil War, which hit Hereford badly. This is the second Civil War between the Royalists and the Parliamentarians. Hereford was a Royalist city. And once Hereford had fallen to the Parliamentarians under Colonel Birch, the castle complex wasn't really necessary any longer, and the stone and rubble was used in buildings and road maintenance, so all has disappeared now.
Where does the cathedral fit in then?
The cathedral dates back to 1079, so as soon as the conquest had taken place and William had entrenched himself here, remember, he came to this area, he colonised the whole of this area, always had the problems with the Welsh, but one of the main structures he wanted to put up to show the grandeur of the time was to create his wonderful cathedrals. Certainly it's a magnificent structure.
Take us for a tour around the city. Where are some of the high points with architecture, buildings and places to see?
Well, certainly when one's moved away from the cathedral, the Bishop's Palace, which is a wonderful late 12th century open hall, which was part of the Bishop's complex. It's now the official residence of the Bishop of Hereford.
I saw a lot of spires around this city. It's almost like Oxford City of Dreaming Spires.
Yes.
Why so many churches?
Well, we've got 5 medieval churches here in Hereford. 3 within the old walls and 2 outside the walls. I think, coupled with the fact that a cathedral was set up here, it was the centre of learning here for Christianity. So the Normans were obsessed with Christianity and the putting up of cathedrals. And we have another 5 smaller churches to go along with it.
Lovely little roadways and streets. One building, in fact 2 buildings I want to ask you about. One is, I think, in Hightown, and it's the most stunning black and white timbered house.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Black and white because the Victorians caused these buildings to be painted black and white. Prior to that, they were all natural. But we're in the black and white area here. North of Hereford, we have a lot of black and white buildings. The old house in Hightown, Grade 1 listed, built in 1621. And over the doorway, we can see the original coat of arms for possibly the Guild of Butchers from London. We think that a butcher from London retired and had the old house built for himself. Very interesting portrait on the front of the building is the Green Man of Hereford, an old pagan fertility symbol, the rebirth in spring, Russell, which you'll see all over Herefordshire. It's a jetted building. That means that each subsequent floor is jetted out over. Some people saying that each of the jetties gives extra weather protection from the ailments. Other people say that it gives a greater floor area as you go up, but it was really jetting was a sign of wealth. So this man who had the old house built in 1621 obviously had a lot of wealth made through the butcher's trade.
I'll also mention this glorious building down St Owen Street in terracotta. Seems to be like a Victorian Gothic palace to me.
Yes. H.A. Shears was the architect for the town hall there. Very much Edwardian, turn of the last century.
Oh, it's Edwardian?
Yes, 1902. Very interesting building because it holds all the, obviously the Mayor's Parlour, and the early charters are kept in there. Hereford's great charter of 1189, given by Richard the Lionheart. basically giving the people of Hereford the right to put up their own defences at the cost of £40 a year, which was directly paid to the king.
Is that why the crest of Hereford has got 3 lions? Or?
Yes, yes. In the centre of the crest you see the 3 lions of Richard the Lionheart.
From here I can see the tower of Hereford Cathedral. You might wonder why I mention that. Well, because from here I can see a plaque which commemorates the site of the birthplace of Nell Gwyn. That's right, Nell Gwyn, the famous favourite of King Charles II. It's said that she was born here in a hovel. And so you can have a direct eye line up to the cathedral down from where Nell would have been born. She had a son by King Charles II, and he was named the Duke of St Albans. Now, fate would have it that when the Duke of St Albans grew up as James Beauclerk too, he was finally sent to Hereford as the Bishop of the cathedral. And from there, he could overlook the place where his mother was born. So where else in Hereford? We've got an historic city, strategically placed, the Welsh Marches. I notice they call itself, or it calls itself, the City of the Marches.
Yes.
Where else is there to go? Where would you head to if you were recommending?
Within the city, Russell? Definitely I would go down and see Hereford's laid out on its medieval grid basically, and little lanes like Capuchin Lane, which used to be known as Cabbage Lane, which crosses over the old east-west boundaries of the Saxon Ditch up into Church Street, past number 21 Church Street, where Elgar used to visit Dr. David Sinclair, the organist, is a must for visitors coming to Hereford. Lovely little shops, an extremely nice area of Hereford, which incidentally then leads out into Hightown, the old Norman part that we've been talking about.
Let's look at that river finally. It's always a glorious sight to see water running past the end of the day. What does the Wye mean to Hereford now? Originally it was a barrier, a defence,
yes,
a communicational
yes,
part of this area.
yes.
People going up and down in boats. What does it do now? Is it purely recreation?
Yes, I mean, obviously in the past it's played its part as far as the defence on the south side of Hereford is concerned. It's a wonderful river, the Wye. It's our premier salmon river. It starts up in mid-Wales at Plymlimon and runs its approximate 150 mile length down to Chepstow and joins the Severn there. Once very much more navigable than it is now. There are sports activities on the Wye here. You can take a boat trip from the old bridge. But it's just a very peaceful walk. Behind me here, you can walk through Bishop's Meadow and up along and see the Wye at its best.